So take a look at early game then. So basically right here, like as soon as you kill that first minion, you got 35 Fury, man. That's plenty to like walk up in front of your minions, and if he tries to walk up and auto, you just auto attack him, start the trade off with an auto attack, extend it with the spin. So right here, when he hit that Q on you, he's pretty far away, right? You don't have to actually commit here for the trade. And if you do commit, make sure to take a little sidestep to the left. That way when you spin onto the Ornn, you also get the Fury from killing this minion. So you get an extra 12 Fury. So that's something we could have done there for that trade, right? Either way, ultimately, fine. We missed out on a couple of minions though for that trade. So right there, for like, if you don't have like the perfect like engage for like an extended trade, I mean, just take that one auto, back off if he Qs and resets, and then when his Q's on cooldown, then maybe look to spin on him. Like if he walks back up after that Q. So get the second wave in a turret. So we missed out on a few minions just naturally, like we weren't positioning ourselves for the minions. And then we missed out, I think, on 2 minions on that first trade because we went for the that extended trade, right? One of those minions we could have gotten if we took that little step to the left and then spun. Ultimately, that's whatever. Now here, if your opponent's not in a position where they're like diveable, like right now, don't even bother with that auto attack spin out here. What you should do instead, you should walk down around and put a ward here for Kha'Zix. Now, when you put the ward, you put it at the very left. I actually want you to put it down the center.
Okay.
Just so it gives you a little bit extra time if the Kha'Zix does his red and walks up here. Because if you put in the center or to the left, it's like an extra second that you lose. Yeah, I really like that you have this wave shoving back. And we're going to take a look at our vision here. Actually, let's not take a look. Let's take a look at all vision. So let's see if we made the right call playing safe, right? So this is always really nice to check up on because you're like, okay, we saw Kha'Zix walk back into our top side, right? So we know Kha'Zix is around. Let's see if we actually avoided a gank here. Well, look at that. He's just like right there, right? So he's round top side. We don't want to play aggressive whatsoever. We're just chilling. So let me talk to you about preparing minions under turret. We won't have time during this 2-hour to go over preparing minions like in detail with the drill like I wanted, just because that game took so long. But I'm just going to talk about it shortly here, and you can work on doing this in your future games.
Cheers.
Hey, Death Cult 1, thank you for the sub for 3 months, dude. I appreciate it. Now, waves crushing in, right? So each of these melees takes 2 autos.
Right.
But guess what? This minion right here, it's not properly set up, right? It's at like 88% HP, something like that, a little bit under 90%. So if the turret autos this minion twice, you can't get the minion. So what you need to do is take a look at how much HP this one has.
All will join me.
You need to get this melee minion to approximately this percentage of HP to properly prepare it. And you have time to prepare it, right? Like right now you're doing nothing. You're just letting the wave crash, right? Just walk up and auto attack this minion, then take a step back. Then when the turret shot autos this one again, then you can do it. It's fine. Like right here, if you know you can't get this minion, right? What you should do is you should walk up and you see these 2 range minions. they're not 100% HP. Because typically, the range minion takes one turret shot, and then you auto-attack it, right?
Yeah.
But that's not the case if they're not 100% HP. So what you gotta do is you basically have to set them up so when the turret shot targets them next, that you're able to last hit it before that turret shot hits. So you don't have to kill this minion, but you gotta get it to within one auto attack. Akio Senpai, thanks for the 2 gifted subs. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. So right here, you see how you're just walking back and forth doing nothing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for a little bit, for those couple seconds, there we could be preparing these minions. Now, when we auto-attack this minion, what we end up doing is, because we see these minions are not prepared, right? We're like, oh shit, we gotta prepare these minions. You end up spinning here, right? But you spawn on these 2 minions as well. Which means that these minions, which were perfectly set up to just take a turret shot and then auto-attack, we messed this up. So we got 1 minion because we spun there, right? But we end up missing this minion, and that minion. Not worth, right? You gotta be cautious of how you spin. And make sure that, like, when you spin on exactly the minions that you want to spin on, and no other minion. So be cautious of that. Alright, later, Akio Senpai. Have a good day, man. Alright, so let's take a look at this gank. I mean, his name is Cheeky Plays Only, so I mean, if this gank doesn't work for the Kha'Zix, by the way, he gets screwed by Graves. Because Graves, like, he's clearing this, and as soon as he sees Kha'Zix top, he can go and instantly know that his bot can't are up, and Kha'Zix can actually get really screwed. But let's see what we could have done on this gank, right? Start thinking, okay, we got level 5, let's go on in this warren. First of all, let's talk about your pathing here. So, you should be auto-attacking this minion as much as possible, and try to be going for this play, right? So right here, as soon as you hit level 5, you should be instantly cutting forward and trading with him, right? It's weird that the Kha'Zix has been top side for so long. There's no way we can expect that, right? Unless we had some kind of vision. But look, you just went. It's like you're only taking right angles. You can only turn 90 degrees. Anyways, now we go in. One, we gotta spin through that faster. That way we don't take the hit. And then when we see Kha'Zix, we need to flash directly away from him. And with our Nimbus Cloak coming in, there's no way that he can chase. Because even if he flashes on top of us, on top of our flash, we have Nimbus Cloak. We end up trying to W first, and then we flash, like, back into Ornn. But if we had just flashed away, the Nimbus Cloak would actually take us out of that gank. The W did see him. I mean, we can check. So, at what point could he have seen the Kha'Zix with this W? What are you talking about, Johnny? At what point could he have known Kha'Zix is in there? There's no way. But yeah, if you flashed immediately before even that late damage hit, then we could have gone away. Anyways, let's go up to... Let's skip a minute. Alright, so right here, we're gonna... Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about this. So... Alright. So we're killing this cannon. We need to recognize that this is the last wave of the soul push. even if we take this as slow as possible,
Like, it's not gonna last long enough.
like, the wave is going to crash right here. And that's not in a good spot either. So what we could do, we could hard shove this and get both these waves entirely into turret. That way the wave can fully reset. But what ends up happening is that you didn't reset the wave and you actually end up getting frozen because you're shoving this in, but not fast enough. Yeah, not slow enough to wait for the next wave. And you want to crash it in instead of slow pushing into the wave because you just want to get this out of this position as possible. Just because you got no flash, right? I think we should have spun on him for a little extra damage, like spin auto, and then walk out of turret range. We could have gotten a little bit extra damage on here, as well as getting these 2 minions. But that's just like, it's very small. Like, miss out just a little bit of damage there. And then here, when I'm asking you to auto attack and spin out a turret, it's very important that you... Alright, so first of all, your spin didn't even hit, right? So, how do you properly auto attack and spin out under turret? Where should you be clicking?
Orn?
No. You click behind Orn. You click behind Orn. That way your character model gets closer. And then you right click Orn and spin away.
Oh, okay. Because oh wait, so if I just click on him, I don't walk close enough to him.
Sometimes. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't.
I see.
But it 100% won't work. Say if you walk up and auto attack Orn, and Orn takes a step back before you get your spin off, then it 100% won't hit.
Okay,
that's why you like walk behind him, like get your character model a little bit closer, then auto attack spin out.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Huh.
All right. Let's go to the next set. So, I think we end up getting ganked by Kha'Zix here. So, yeah. Ganked by Kha'Zix. And we burn Kha'Zix flash. We get out of the situation. So what we need to do is we either need to shove this in and get the wave all the way into turret, or we need to bait Orn into using his W or Q to shove the wave in. That way it can get unfrozen. So when we walk up here, so we look to back off a little bit greedy. And we also don't make the instant decision to walk up and shove in, right? Like, as soon as we get out of Orn's range here, like, he's got no mana. He can't do nothing. We need to walk up and shove this wave in instantly. This little delay where we walked all the way back and then walked up, did a little recall, and then shove it in, that's what allowed LeBlanc to get this wave shoved in and then walk up, right? Also, we shouldn't use our spin like this. Especially if Kha'Zix did heal up a little bit and Kha'Zix reganked, we need to save our spin to get away. And again, when we went through this wave, how many minutes did we spin through? I mean, you might as well spin through the whole wave, right? We did this constantly when we're trying to get we're trying to shove as quickly as possible, and we spin on like 1 minion or 2 minions. But if we had shoved the wave all the way in, it would be a little bit better. Yeah, but again, it's also our bad that we didn't recognize that mid had priority and was coming up top. So that's something that we both could have seen. And right here, instead of trying to walk away, you should just be instantly walking down. So against LeBlanc, it's really important that you try to, like, if you avoid her chain, there's a good chance you live here. But since you got hit by the chain, that's where you get wrecked. So if we had walked in the bush at the very end and then like spun down and looked to sidestep the chain, there's a chance we could have lived. All right. So, and then I think LeBlanc comes up again and we just get screwed, right? But now let's take a look at the dragon fights, right? Because we were active in quite a few of them, not this one. Let's take a look at this next dragon. Oh, this is where you kill. Oh yeah. Actually, we probably could have killed both of them. Potentially, if he didn't ult early. It's like, if we had ulted here, and then W spun, this guy probably dies, right? Yeah, so we ulted a little bit early, but it's hard to account for LeBlanc's burst damage, along with the Ornn. So if we had ulted a little bit better, we could have gunned him. So, I'm going to take a look at the dragon, the fights, right? So let's take a look here. So right here, it's important that you walk into range of Lux, walk into spin range of Lux, and then spin in. And also, maybe we could have just spun onto the Cossacks. Yeah, looking back at it. But like, if we're gonna spin onto Lux, walk forward and get into spin range, and even if she Qs us, look what we could do. Let me tell you when you should have spun. Right here, instead of spinning, we should walk forward, walk forward, walk forward, and then, right before this Q hits us, we should spin. So what this is we buffer the crowd control from Lux's bind. Lux's bind does not stop your spin in place. Your character will still spin onto your target even while binded, right? And, more importantly, we can auto-attack while snared. So, if we wait till right before that Q snare hits us, spin onto her, then we're not, we don't get screwed.
Yeah.
And we can buffer the snare so, like, the snare doesn't last as long, right? Because throughout, like, half a second to a second of that bind duration, we're actually still spinning. It'll help us get on top of our target. That way, we don't have to even use Ignite here. Now, getting out of this situation, again, you spun towards your target, but not on top of your target. You gotta be hitting your spin with spin damage. It's really important. You do this constantly. Now, it's a difference if, like, say you're running a person down the lane, and, like, you're for sure gonna kill them, and it's like a 1v1 situation, and you're spinning forward just to get in range for that W slow, for example. But, like, if we could just walk up and spin on this Ashe, which we absolutely could, she has nowhere to run. Walk in range, spin on her, get that damage, and that's going to help a lot. Then when we do get on her, look, we got spin up now, right? Look at that. Could have gone spin up again. Again, every 2 crit, like once you get this build, once we get 40% CDR, once you have your spin maxed out, spin, crit, crit, spin, crit, crit, spin, crit, crit, spin, crit, crit, spin, over and over again. And when we get Rage Blade, spin, crit, crit, spin, crit, spin, crit, crit, spin, crit, spin. Like, we basically, like, take one of the crits out there. And we can spin even faster, right? Which is what enables Rage Blade to do so much damage. Again, you spun towards the Cossacks instead of on top of the Cossacks, right? Where maybe, once we saw Cossacks die, maybe we could have used that spin to, like, get away. Our spin got canceled here, so we should just disengage. Like, chasing after a LeBlanc, I mean, that's tough, man. Like, there's no way you can realistically stick onto him. You don't even have Ignite or Flash here. Like, you should just
Join me.
either, yeah, you should just get out.
I am hard stuck gold too.
Hey, Lightsora, thanks for Prime for 19 months. I'm sorry your heart's not gold too, man. Don't worry, you'll continue learning from the stream. Yeah, you should just spin out, like, over this wall. I mean, LeBlanc could just, like, do that to you all day long. And then you end up dying here, right? So let's take a look at the next dragon. So this dragon, if I remember correctly, is where you are shoving out mid, right? So it's telling you to shove mid. Oh wait, no, it says Baron. I mean, either way, it's still pretty good. Where's the dragon? Didn't we have a dragon? Oh, maybe the dragon was never done. Is it here? Oh yeah, it's here. So spin. So we're going to take a look at our Fog War only. And we're going to take a look at objective timers. So dragon spawning right now. Your team is not... Okay, first of all, that the Jin didn't even... Okay. Either way. We're not really in a position as a team to contest this dragon. One, the Thresh is back in base. Two, these people are just here. So what we should do... Shove mid. Put pressure on mid. Force a bonk to run mid. And then we should take a look on this, like, flank path. And take this route to flank. And get behind the enemy team. So that, like, when the enemy leaves dragon, they're going to be coming right into you. And that will enable your team to kind of sandwich them. Especially if there's people in here or something. So instead of engaging here, how should we be approaching this if we're looking to flank? We should go around here and go. But if LeBlanc is here zoning you, and she's just sitting there waiting for you, right? Just shove mid. There's no point. You know? If you can't get in a fight, which... As a TRYNAMERE, it can be hard to get into a fight, right? Just because you're really susceptible to crowd control. Like, you should spin forward and push mid. But you force this really hard. And then you fog ulted, rip. But let's take a look at when you revive. We made a good plays. Want to shove mid first. Or doing the Baron. Now here was a really good play by Thresh. But as the Baron is dying, or when the Baron's like about to die, right? Instead of continuously dealing damage to this Baron, what you actually should do is you should walk up and spin on top of this Kha'Zix and force him to either jump away or to jump in the Baron pit early where your team can just kill him. So he actually should have stopped hitting around 3k and looked his own Kha'Zix. Your Thresh had a perfect play to stop Kha'Zix from jumping in. Which, you know, Kha'Zix may have stolen that. Never know. Your team made a really good play there. That was perfectly done. Now, I could have sworn there was one more... Oh yeah, here it is. Alright, so shove mid, right? Instead of going through here where your team already is, remember, go around and sandwich them. Like, get physically behind these guys. Don't come, like, straight forward. I mean, if your team's positioned right here and you walk into here to position along with the team, I mean, that's not a flank. You're just straight up grouping. And in that case, it's really easy to just crowd control TRYNAMERE and contain him. But if you're able to come from a flank, man, like you go around here, you take this blast point around, and you come from like here, I mean, you're gonna be all on top of those squishies. Especially in silver when people don't know how to peel. It's gonna be very easy. So here, I mean, your team basically just won the fight. Grave stole the Infernal. Which is clutch. Your team, like, hit a bunch of shit. Your impact in the fight was basically nothing. But you could have had a huge impact if you just, like, flanked, right? So I told you shove mid. That way, you know, this is why we shove mid before an objective, by the way. Because if you win at the objective after shoving mid, then you can go right into an inhib. Or right into a turret. Let me see if this is up. So I'm going to take a look at this bot play. The orange started spinning, or TPing, right? So, auto attack, spin. You see how you auto twice before your spin, mem? It should be auto spin, auto spin, auto spin, and just like reset your spin constant. You should have spun on this guy probably 10 times. Not even joking. In each one of your spins, deals a significant amount of damage. Look at this. That's 600 damage on your spin. And not only that, your spin is triggering your Trinity Force procs, which is another bonus 264 damage. You auto attack 3 times before your first spin. Spin. There's no reason to W. You wasted your W here, right? The only reason that you W is to stick onto your opponent after they've gone out of your range, right? So say like this Ornn like flashes away or E's away or something. But he's right on top of you the whole time. Now, when you're spinning for damage, let me break down each spin individually, because this is really important. Yes, you are spinning for damage, but you're also spinning for better position to stick on top of your opponent as well as possible. And you got to do this at a very fast pace. So here, that spin was good. Where can the Ornn escape to? His turrets, right? Like his base. I'll attack, and we should have spun in front of him. Deal the damage, stay in front of him. Auto spin. Auto spin. Right there, we actually got a phantom hit. So our spin was back up after one auto, but we auto twice. Spin. Auto spin. We flashed, like... The Ornn thing is way back here, man. Now, we dodged it, but that was just because he screwed up, right?
Yeah.
Just think how many spins we missed, how our misposition on that one spin, how we didn't wait for a W, and instead of like that, during that W animation, we could have gone either another auto attack or another spin. I mean, there's just a lot of missed opportunities here. And we should, like, even before Blade Dude, we could have crushed him. And he has 500 armor. That's why this build is broken. But you gotta know how to utilize it, right? Gotta know how to utilize it. So, any questions there?
Nah.
Okay. Alright, so that was an opportunity for us. But let's take a look at the last fight here. Here, running it on the Ornn bot lane. Again, don't W immediate, like, dude. Your catch potential is so ridiculous at level 16 plus, especially when you have 40% CDR, 100% crit with Rage Blade. No one can get away from you. Well, I say no one, but then LeBlanc has like 9,000 dashes, so she's probably like one of like 2 champions who are gonna get away from you. Here's when you should W, when he dashes away. Either way, you have your blade to stick onto him. Auto attack, auto spin. Auto spin. Auto spin. Oh, ow. You didn't crit there? Oh! Oh, it's because you used your Q. Oh, that's when you used your Q before you even ulted. Oh, yeah, dude. If you didn't Q there, like randomly, with the Thorn Mail on you, you'll have been fine. Because when you have full Fury, you have 100% crit. But we didn't crit there to reset our spin because we used our Fury. So, I mean, don't use your Q before your ulti, man. Especially, like, when your Q is being, you know, cucked by the Grievous Wounds. But yeah. I see you doing, you know, pretty good, like, with the build towards the end. Like, you could be a little bit better. Remember to spin for damage and spin for position. Now, we are in an ideal situation with this setup where we are on top of somebody who has one dash that's very slow that we could just use W stick onto, right? Now, what should we be doing if we're against an opponent with a dash, some kind of like easy escape? Should we be constantly spinning for damage?
Nah, you just wait for the dash.
Wait for the dash. Now, if the dash is on cooldown, yeah, spin for damage. But like, you gotta be cautious of that, right? But honestly, if we know it's gonna be a close fight, and we have our flash up, we can spin for damage, force their dash, flash on top of them, reset our spin. And if they have flash, then we'll have reset our spin for the flash, right? But that's essentially how it is. Alright, and there it is, dude. You have any questions?
Nah, that was pretty clear, man.
Alright, so a lot of things to work on. So not only like laning phase stuff, like getting away from, like, those ganks were like very unfortunate to set you behind, right? And sometimes that just happens. Now, we looked into all the ganks, and all of them actually could have been avoided. So we could have flashed properly against Kha'Zix. We could have seen that LeBlanc had prior mid. She just shoved in mid and headed towards topside after the wave shove. If we had seen that, then that could have been good info. If we position our waves properly to fully shove in, rather than just pushing just outside of his turret so we get frozen on, so we are in a position where we can get ganked by both LeBlanc and Kha'Zix. That kind of stuff for early game was what's killing you. Like, just need to be a little bit better on managing your wave. And then, you know, when it gets into the later game situations, just maximize your damage, maximizing your position on your opponent. And especially when we took a look at that kill replay right at the beginning, it was really important that we stick between her and her turret, right? We kind of let auto-pathing dictate. So you just got a little bit lazy in terms of moving. But what I'm going to do with you here, I'm going to set up a practice tool, and I'm going to go over a couple things.
This'll be a slaughter.
I'm going to take some of it off. Alright, plebs, you're free. Let's see. Alright, man. I thought I loved the videos. Yeah, thanks, man. Alright. So, right here, we're gonna just break down the auto attack and spin away. So, don't just walk up, auto attack, spin, right? But make sure you auto attack, like walk up so your character's a little bit closer, and then auto attack, spin away, right? Let me just do this. If we do it perfectly, you see how the 184 came up separately? If we do it perfectly, then it should come up as one big number. Now, it can be hard, but as long as you're doing your auto attack and spin and canceling like that, see that 184 came up as one number? It's because you did it so close together that the game treats it as like one source of damage. Hey, Death, oh, Ro, thanks for a prime. I appreciate it. Now, what we're going to do, it's also leading into the next show, right? So, what we're going to do here is we are going to work on last hitting under turret and preparing minions at a time. So, I'm going to show you a couple things with this drill. This is something that you and any of you guys in chat can do. And it's very easy. So, you see, I set up the 3 target dummies. I got, I just got like standard rune page, longsword refill. What we're going to do is work on preparing minions. Now, if you don't know, TRYNAMERE early levels doesn't one-shot range minions. So what he has to do is he has to prepare them ahead of time, right? So you see what I did there? I prepared the minions well ahead of time, right? Now, to continuously work on preparing minions ahead of time, once we hit level 2, we're actually going to lock our experience level. Now, we get into a situation where we accidentally crit that minion, right? So, in that case, there is a chance that you could potentially miss a minion, like, miss out on the minions, right? But we gotta do, what we can to make sure that we set the wave as perfectly as possible. That's probably the only situation where you're probably gonna miss a minion. So make sure you set up the ranged. And what you can do as well, like if you want to, you can have auto refresh cooldowns, and you could just like spam your Q just to make sure that you have no fury at all times. But yeah, the drill is really just testing you in between waves, right? So just something like this. And if you want to make sure that you just never like accidentally crit, you could just memory kill. So that's basically how the drill works. And you can do this for like 5 minutes. In around 5 minutes, this wave is going to get so big that's actually going to like start looping around. Wow, I crit with like no fury. So even with the accidental crit, I'm still able to set it up so that I can prepare minions at a time, right? But anyways, that's it.
Alright.
Alright, man. That's basically all I have for you for now. We have like 9 minutes left, but I don't think we have time for anything substantial.
Yeah. Thanks, man. That's pretty helpful. That's cool.
Awesome, man. Hey, thank you so much for your time. Hey,
thank
everybody, can you let's give a big round of applause for Young Man Horny in chat. Hey, thank you so much for your time, man, and for showcasing like your game so that we can all learn from your mistakes and all learn how to position as trend, how to manage waves as trend, preparing minutes at a time, all that good stuff. So thank you, Young Man Horny.
No, thank you, man.